All right, according to the YouTubes, we should be live as usual. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: John K, Andrew C, Lady Quickblood 35, Moonbad, Babas D, Craig B, Jimmy M, Drac Wizard, James C, Macy J, Tipsy Thomas, James B, Wallach, Jason G, Michael W, Christian M, Coronite Care Bear, Olinius Pius, Road Dog, and King Assault, Tippers, Orange Veteran, Sean, Newcomer, After Dark Games, and Celtic Miniatures, and Randy the Axeman. All right, how is everyone doing today? It's been a minute. I have been working all morning as usual up until this frickin' point here, and I just haven't had time to get my normal list of things in front of me of how I say them or do them. So if I get a sound check from the audience, we will begin. I assume everything is good. I did sound check myself a little earlier, but I want to know that you guys can hear me before I start going off on tangents. So nothing really special today. What's up, Hungar the Starvarian? How you doing today? And Unforgiven. So, what did I say in the video description of this? Uh-oh. Hold on here. Can't even remember what I'm supposed to be talking about. Just take me into YouTube, please. Oh. All right, I'm going into live here. All right. Okay, so, Warhammer: The Old World rumors. As of now, nothing new's really hit the. Nothing new has actually really hit the internet yet. All I know is that they're not coming out with starter boxes, two-player starter boxes. They will reprint some of the models, but I don't know if they're going to reprint Island of Blood or Skull Pass. So they've gone back and forth. So they're taking that back. And then, you know, I've heard other content creators saying, well, they need to do a two-player skirmish game. You know, and that's, what's up, DM James? And the Command Bunker, how you guys doing today? And they always talk about, like, they need a two-player skirmish game so that you can build off of it. Why not? Why don't you just go and buy a battalion starter box? So if they come out with a $180 box set and you're roughly pushing 750 points for that box, just start there, and you'll find other people who have dusted off their armies and are ready to play Warhammer: The Old World. They're not going to make this a huge flagship product because, you know, heaven forbid that Warhammer Fantasy actually comes back and then buries Age of Sigmar in sales, which would be hilarious if it did. If it just sort of like all of a sudden became the flagship product again, you know. I mean, and that would also put out a lot of other war games like Mantic's fucking OBS. I restarted my computer, restarted the internet, and I still get the OBS issues. So they'll probably be going in and out all day. But you get the, I get the impression I get is that it's going to be a lot like 30K, where it's going to be complicated. It's going to be harder to play. My friend was watching Mountain Miniatures, and all he could do was complain about how many rules there were to remember, you know. And this is a problem with wargaming, you know. I think that people in wargaming try to do too much when it comes to playing the old world or whatever, or it comes to playing more than one game, you know. I mean, I think that you should really just try to be happy with 3 games, play those 3 games and play them well, because when you start looking at different editions of games, different fantasy rule settings, different games like Bolt Action, Hail Caesar. Well, the cool thing about Hail Caesar, Pike and Shot, and Bolt Action is that Black Powder is that they're all roughly the same game with minor changes. And they've only come into their 2nd edition. I could see if they were doing that, but Games Workshop has a tendency to, they got to make a line of books for every single army that they own. And number one, a problem I have with this is Games Workshop doesn't have they don't have a staff on hand, you know, big enough to handle that workload. For decades now, I'm going to say for, at least 2 decades that I've been playing, they have not been able to make an army book for every single army out there. inside of one edition, except for within 5th, but I came in after 5th. I think at 5th edition, everybody might have had a book. I'm not sure for Warhammer Fantasy. I have to wait until my OBS stops kicking in. I'll talk about Midwinter in a second. So I think 5th edition was like the last edition. Every single army had a physical book because the company was smaller and rules were simpler back then, and you just have to write a book and then everybody gets their own little rules. All right. So with the new edition of 40K and everything, I think that what they're trying to do for 10th is I'm all for open sourced army rules being online and staying online and updating every 3 months. I think that writing books is a waste of time, and you just don't have enough time during the lifespan of an edition, especially for 40K, where you have like, I think it's over 19 armies now. You have 19 different armies because there's like 20 flavors of bullshit, which are called Marines. It doesn't matter what kind of Marine they are. It could be Chaos, it could be Salamander. I'm talking anything in power armor or power armor adjacent, taking up the bulk of the writing staff and the play testing that you have to do. And the other problem that Games Workshop has is that they've resorted to hiring some influencers to get feedback before they make rules. And that's kind of one thing that's killed Kings of War for me. It's not a person writing his own take and going his own direction with it and making that book his. You know, it wasn't Gav Thorpe's Dark Elves in 7th edition, which totally balanced the playing field, because up until then, Matt Ward's Demon book was completely and ridiculously broken. So broken that he got death threats for writing the book. So, you know, you can't encompass every single army. You know, I mean, one idea I did have for like writing books and everything is that you pick 12 armies. 12 armies that you center the game around. You can make books for the other armies, but you pick 12 armies, no more than 12 for 40K, and then you put in the preference section, this army is approved for competitive play. And then let's say if you go by, I don't know, what's an army? Somebody cares about some army somewhere. I'm trying to think of a faction nobody really gives a shit about. Harlequins or the Space Clowns. Okay. Well, maybe the Space Clowns, they're the one faction of Eldar that aren't recommended for serious play, you know, and they'll never be able to FAQ all that stuff. So when Warhammer the Old World comes out, you'll have to buy a battalion starter. Heaven forbid you go big or go home. And that's kind of what 30K expects you to do. They expect you to go big or go home. You know, and you have to buy your buy-in is significantly higher, but it's for the veteran war gamer and everything. So when they said that they might not come out with a 2-player starter box, I'm all for that, you know. And you don't need a fucking skirmish game in order to slow build, because one thing that really pisses me off is every slow build I've ever been a part of at a game store, I'm the only one who ends up with a painted army at the end of the day. Everybody else is like, oh, I painted my one guy, I halfway built my units, oh, we're doing this 500-point slow build, everyone. And then, you know, everybody sat down, masturbated to Pornhubs, played video games, and nothing got done. Nobody progressed. So you're either going to go balls deep or you're going to go home for fantasy. And, you know, if they don't capture the coveted video game audience, well, those are video gamers, not tabletop war gamers. And yes, there is a difference. And you might get, let's say you'll probably get 1 out of 20 to come in and take a look, to come in and spend their money. And then when they realize that this is actual frickin' work that you have to do, real work. There's things you got to learn. You got to learn how to build. I'm still learning how to build things today. You got to learn how to rank up your miniatures. That won't be a problem if they go to bigger bases. You got to learn how your army works. You got to learn all those special rules. You got to learn how the nuances of the movement phase for fantasy works, you know. So as of them not bringing in a 2-player starter box, I like that. because then you won't be because then there'll be one less thing on eBay that you have to worry about spamming the site when you're looking for stuff, specific stuff, you know. And the UK seller won't be able to sell this one dwarf in the Skull Pass kit for $29.99 with 34 pounds to ship. I can't take anything less than that. Now I get them on the 34 pounds to ship. I was getting some rates today. I sent the Celtic miniatures out to Celtic for his website and everything. He's going to do an unboxing. What's up, Cornite Care Bear? I'll get to all of you in just a second. I'm about to wrap up here on this subject part. The shipping rate for, like, if I was going to UPS ground that package to Alberta, that was $167. And you know, the worst part about eBay is that they always try to guess how much your package is going to cost you and everything. And so that's always a problem that I have, is I always get burned on shipping. The last thing I shipped out, I only made half the money on shipping. I didn't, and then I had to spend the other half myself. So you know, that's just kind of my thoughts. You know, you're gonna have to go balls deep, or you're gonna go home when it comes to the old world. And I think creating a skirmish game, like going with Mordheim, yeah, you can go with Mordheim later. But again, it comes down to what I said earlier. There's too many games, and y'all try to do too much, you know? Y'all try to, and even I am guilty of this. I try to do too much. And so that's about where we're at. So I will say hi to some of you guys now who have just joined us. Fox, Historical Doppelganger, what's up? I don't know how to say your name. Clin Barton. Okay, what's up, man? Okay, so that'll just take us into our next topic there in a second. Well, Hung and Dung, how are you? Everybody seems to be pissed off at Midwinter Minis. What's up, Wraith? Cornite? All Skirmish Fantasy Wood Elf Army. Screw your ranks. You could have that one element. The worst tournament I ever been in, I actually took a hard L in. And the Wood Elf player was a friend of the tournament organizer at that time. This is back in the days of 7th edition. And he got to play 3 games. It was a 4-game tournament. He got to play 3 of his 4 games on a table with 6 forests. The 6th being the one he added. And then I made a real stink at the end of that because I drew him. He had won 2. He won the tournament, by the way. He was the. I drew his Wood Elf army because I saw how he was set up, and I just deployed in lines. I deployed in giant lines, and I moved forward so that he couldn't dance around me. And it was really hilarious to see him go like short circuit, like I can't get out. I can't transport. I literally deployed somewhere around the lines of 180 goblins and squig and squig, what do you call them? Squig herd units in lines. My trolls in lines. I deployed everything in lines. And then I kept some of my characters inside of those forests, like the ones I had a wizard that wasn't going to be any good because of the spells that he rolled. I kept him in the back forest that was behind my lines so that he couldn't deploy anything back there and teleport. And I just walked him down and I shot him down. And I got a draw. I did not win that game. I did get a draw. But then after that, I raised a stink. I said, he's been on this table for 3 games. It's time you cook the Wood Elf player off of the board with 6 forests. Oh, you're just a spoil sport, HD. Yeah, fuck you. I'm not moving. I'm staying on this table. You're leaving. And they left. I got in trouble with the powers that be at that tournament, but I don't care. And he won his next game, fair and square. That's fine, but I still wanted to make sure he got kicked off of that table. Let's see. Harrison Sanior, what's up? There is a lack of laziness, but again, you know, I think the laziness comes from being overwhelmed too. If you're overwhelmed, you can't get a lot done. You really can't get a lot done. Hungar. So what's up with you two guys? How are you? How's the South doing? It's warm down there, I bet. What's up, Mr. Dynamite? What's up, JK? Deadbeat minis. All right, not Wraith. Minis thing. Yes, you guys should watch the Rangers reaction. I made a little video on Instagram about that. Again, if you're not following me on Instagram, you're not getting the bench updates. I'm going to be a little bit more vocal on Instagram because that's the one place that I do get to grow. What's up, Ultimate Warrior? How you doing, man? We can go right into the next subject, which is the Illuminati. And that's what Midwinter Minis is. They're Illuminati if I've ever seen it. And then the last Holy Diver show, I hope everybody here watched it, liked it, left a comment, and not to mention shared it. Because I did get 3 flags when I initially released the video. I got ratioed to hell. I didn't get a whole lot of dislikes, but I did get flagged for wrong speak. And then I had to point out to YouTube that my video had 2 disclaimers, so that one went away. So the one for vulgarity went away. The one for there was one more that I don't remember what it was, but the third one that stuck was nudity. I guess you're not allowed to look at pictures of Akatsuka when you're sitting there on stream, so I'm just going to leave her out for as long as possible because YouTube doesn't want you to remember what thin, attractive women look like with big boobs. You know, I mean, they don't want that. It's got to be Tess Holiday or nothing these days on YouTube. What's up, Fred Haley? How you doing, man? So yeah, I have not watched the video. I was thinking we'd watch it today. I don't really have the time to do a live reaction in the stream because I've already been talking for like 15 minutes and everything. And when I say Illuminati, that means any influencer that is kind of beyond the pale of 160,000 subs, which I think Midwinter Minis is. They have at least 200,000 subs, and I've never heard of them a whole lot. You know, 1, they're not mini wargaming. 2, the guy's got a woman doing most of his videos. So, you know, that tells me that he can get a lot of guys to dick think and everything, you know. And yes, I mean, at the same time, when I raised the alarm about this stuff, and I really think that the last Holy Diver show should have been labeled Holy Diver's Pit because you know, I ran afoul of YouTube censors in less than 24 hours. And when I sound the alarm, the problem I have is that, and I'm not blaming you guys here. I know that you are all busy, real people. You are all busy, you know, and you can't just drop what you're doing to watch and like one of my videos the moment it drops. And I understand that. You're all very busy. But the problem I have is that, you know, I mean, my diehards weren't coming to my rescue fast enough. So when I sound the alarm about something and all of a sudden I get flagged, censored and everything, well, you know, there's really nothing I can do about it. Now, I can go and make another video addressing what Midwinter Mini said, but a lot of people have already done this video. You know, and I don't know what else I would add to the mix right now because I have not watched the video in full. I watched the first 4 seconds just so I would have the gist of it. And when they said, "Oh, the problem with historical wargaming is everybody has a Nazi complex," well, you know what? The one thing that you guys can take home from me is that if you really want to piss off people like Midwinter Minis, is just paint up a squad of Waffen SS with the swastikas and put them on the socials. And then just hashtag, just like they got the hashtag fuck Dylan Mulvaney going. And that's been the only boycott that I can think of in modern history that has worked. When you piss off, now I identify with this. I'm white trash. You feel me? All right? When you piss off white trash, and you put a gay person on their beer, they will boycott you. And that boycott will be effective. Now, we can't boycott Midwinter Minis for a lot of reasons. 1, there isn't enough of us to even make a difference. And in the last Holy Diver show, I really did say women will be the destructors of the hobby. All right? When they had that Women in Wargaming panel, when they had the Women in Wargaming panel, they are telling us that these are going to be our influencers. Look upon them. All right? Whoever organized that panel, that's the Illuminati that I can't put a face on. that I want to put a face on. And if any of you guys have ideas, DM me on Instagram, because that's what I want the next Holy Divers show to fixate on. Who are these Illuminati types putting, I mean, my theory for, let's see here, what's his name? Discourse Miniatures, is that his channels are owned. He has 2 channels. One has 30,000 subs. The other one has 14,000 subs. The third one has 500 subs, whatever. He has all of that time to make videos. Someone's got to have this guy on his payroll, whether that's like a company like Daily Mail or Vice. But we need to put a face on the Illuminati, and we need to find a way to identify it when we see it. All right? Another thing that I mentioned were the ugly lesbians in the room over at what is it called? Tabletop Tactics. Katie from Tabletop Tactics with her hermaphrodite lover. Now, the Frankenstein's monster, which I identified is, Maxine plays 40K as well. That's an inorganic plant. That's, again, Illuminati coming into the hobby, basically saying, here's another potential influencer you guys might be interested in. So someone out there, someone that we haven't seen or maybe have seen, is playing Kingmaker. And this is the problem that we're having with Midwinter Minis. They're obviously one channel with so much influence. So, and I've talked about the 40K, the gamer light consumer POS, the lowest common denominator of gamer out there. I've talked about them. They're the ones fueling these channels. We don't have to fuel these channels. But if you're following some girl that paints on the socials, you're kind of feeding one of the heads of the Hydra. I've talked about the mediocre women, and women just drumming up any kind of attention that they can get. I sounded a very big alarm, all right, in the last video, with a great peril to myself. I lost 20 subs. Now, I don't think that 20 people would up and I think after 6 years on YouTube, I know that my fans, they know what to expect from me at any given point in time. And I will get to your chat in a minute. They know what to expect from me. My fans immediately know what to expect from me. From what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do. They know which way the video, because they understand humor. And they have a lexicon of what is funny. All right? But, it's just like, I pissed off the good humor man at YouTube, and, I was just, the video's immediately flagged, and you have to push a button to get into it. So, my hands are like dealing with stuff like this are tied. I'm not, this isn't e-begging, I'm just stating the fact that if I were to release more of these kinds of videos, they would probably just stay on Patreon until the like number hits 60. At least, and if I had 60 patrons, I would be about 50% funded to actually be a heavy hitter inside of YouTube, because then I would actually buy the equipment. Next month I'm fixing to make a purchase for some items anyway, and I'll put a video on Patreon for that, the money that I've spent and used and equipment bought. But I'm competing with people who have made this their job. Now, I don't know how much money, and I've already talked about this in the last Holy Divers show, that, running a Tabletop Tactics, Lawrence is probably not having all the fun in the world. It's a business, and it's almost a failing business model, because you have to make payroll for 5 other people, not you. 5 other people, not you. And however much these people are being paid. And then, and it wasn't even that, and it's not even, and you can go and say the same thing is true of mini wargaming. However many presenters they have to pay them. And how many presenters have they had leave? And only 2 of them have made it. You got Stephen B. DeMarco and Ash Baker. It kind of sucks that nobody watches Mini Wargamer J anymore. But then I also mentioned that a guy like Mini Wargamer J should have been the one to get Louise Sundurch's job. All right? And and when I say Louise Sundurch, I mean that's about as close to the Illuminati as you're going to get. Nobody would even know her name if she didn't work for Games Workshop. All right? She would have to grind out the whole way up. she would have to grind out content from scratch, which isn't hard if you're a kept woman. I'm sure someone is keeping her, and her life is brilliantly fucking easy, to say the least. So, you know, just I've sounded a lot of alarms. All you guys can do is share the video, like the video, and you know, I just like, you know, it's just like when I get smacked down by the algorithm, there's really nothing I can do. I mean, I will say that the best way to deal with this is to do a counter-offensive of everybody just painting up Waffen SS units, and then the next photo should just be of a big middle finger, and underneath there should be a hashtag F Midwinter Minis. That's about all you can do. So I'm going to get to the chat because it's running wild here, and I hope I can be a little bit more help to you, and we'll progress through this together. Did the wizard have something up his sleeve? I don't know what you mean, well hung and dung. Ultimate Warrior, bro. Gotta put the weight on the credentials for your eBay listing when you make your... oh, no, I don't want people to know who I am really on eBay. I know that listing's... Goddamn OBS. I have got to learn how StreamYards works. DM James or Hungar, you guys need to teach me how to use StreamYard so I'm not sitting here in the dark ages. Yeah, that listing sold, you know, but I don't, you know, the one I'm holding, the one problem I have with eBay is when I do sell something that's painted and looks nice and it gets there and everything's good, they always slow walk my my feedback. That's the only problem with eBay, and by God, that's the only way that's the way it's gonna stay. So they're always going to be separate. Let's see, 87 degrees in Orlando. Well, hell yeah. Tennessee, it's cold, 67 right now. Okay. Let's see. What's up, Fred Haley? Whose take was really moronic? Please elaborate, Mr. Dynamite. If the Midwinter Minis guy is having trouble with females, yeah, that's the problem. You live in the UK, and as I stated before, the one problem they had with Louise, and I'll just get it right now, because I am trying to make notes for another show. What was this? What I just need show 20. I am in the right notebook, aren't I? Nope, I'm in the wrong notebook. Of course. Hell yeah. Where's the good notebook? Alright, well, I don't know. I'll have to just ad-lib it here because I can't keep my fucking shit in order. The one problem they had with Louise is, one, they hired a woman, alright? Two, they hired a British woman. And there isn't a more entitled class of people on the face of the planet than British women. And then there's a third one that was a funny joke that I don't remember what it is. But there were the third one being, there were a lot of guys more qualified than her who would have taken the job, and they would have been happy with the salary that they've gotten. They probably would have done a couple videos on the side for themselves. Their channel wouldn't be a big threat. They would just be their one channel that they play games on. They would play games on their channel, and it would be, this is what I do on my, and if they demonetized it, it would be fine. But there's the guy who's working with that partner, Hattie or whatever her name is, over on Midwinters. Yeah, he's probably ran afoul and got a little handsy. I guarantee it. You put your hand on a woman's shoulder and be like, I wish you could dress more feminine. You're going to jail in the UK. You just raped her if you say something like that. So, oh, that's okay, Ultimate Warrior. Like I said, everybody who comes to this channel has some form of job that they go to. Most people. I know that Mr. DM James is a retired firefighter, and Hungar is also retired. So we'll just leave it at that. Let's see here. Yeah, you could play Russians. I mean, the Russians are even worse. Like, if I were to, I'll add one side note here. If I were to get a time machine, you know, if I were to get a time machine to do one do-over and I get to kill a historical figure, I'm not choosing Hitler. I'm not choosing Hitler. Hitler's like number 6 on the list. He is not my number 1. The first person I would travel back in time to kill is Chairman Mao. I'm going to kill Mao. I'm going to kill Mao Zedong. I think that's how you said it. Chairman Mao of the CCP. I'm going to kill him. I'm killing Chairman Mao. I choose Chairman Mao to kill before Hitler. There you go. That is my first do-over. The second would be Woodrow Wilson. All right, so I mean, and what Stalin did was even worse, So I mean, the list goes on from there. But Chairman Mao is at the top of my list if I get a historical assassination. And I bet you number 2 would probably have to be Chiang Kai-shek, because I think a destabilized, permanently destabilized, leaderless China would have been better for the world. Would have been better I mean, if they were just getting their shit together now, and they were a third world as an African society, I think America would be a better place, We would be importing probably Chinese to come and work here rather than just having an open border, give and take there. So, Well Hung and Dung, are you referring to the people over at Midwinter? Well, they are English, and your choices for government in England, I am probably a little misinformed, but the way I see it is you have hard left communism, and then you have really hard socialism. Those are your choices for political parties in the UK. So you get communism or you get hard socialism. You take your pick. You painted your night goblins with white robes. I've seen somebody do that. And they had a grand wizard leading everything in that night goblin army. Seventh Son, I forgot. Yeah, he also commented on it. Another thing that we can do that I really want to... I'm going to talk to Seventh Son about this. When I get a chance, I'm going to hit up Seventh Son and maybe appear on his... maybe he'll let me appear on his Plastic Crack podcast at some point. Maybe, I don't know. I have to ask him. I don't want to slide his channel or get him in trouble because my name means trouble on the internet now. Is about getting as many historical wargamers as we can, and we're going to start flying the coop again. Now I'm going to bring up maybe backing up our content on Odyssey or BitChute, but moving most of the content over to Rumble. And I think now's the time to start moving wargaming content over to Rumble en masse. Because if we do it first, if the historical gamers do it first, we're setting the algorithm. All right? And so if we can get, what's his name? Tabletop CP, myself, I'm already on Rumble. And if you're not following me on Rumble, there is a benefit to that. Most of the battle reports that I am filming, they're going to end up on Rumble before they see the light of day on YouTube. And I'm doing, even though this hurts me analytically to do it, I happen to believe in what we're doing over there. The few of us that are. There's only one other guy making battle reports. It's like Frozen North Miniatures or something like that. I'd have to double check. One other guy making battle reports on Rumble. We need to start moving our content on our small channels over to Rumble so that their algorithm can actually set something up for it. And we would set the algorithm. Speaking of Rumble, one thing I'd like to talk about is, well, I'll save that for when I'm actually painting. And let me just get to your comments. Fox. Oh, that was Night Goblin? Okay. Okay. Said, okay, so we're good. Yeah, the Ranger said it pretty good himself. Let's see, did I go down? Oh, maybe. Okay. Hey, man, Louise is a 10 out of 10 in Bongland. Again, like I said, mediocre women. I mean, she is one that I don't have to drink up to a 6, and I don't think I would regret it. But she also seems like the type who would sabotage a condom. And she would pull a condom out of her purse, and that condom would have a needle prick in it or something like that, and that'd be like she'd be like, "Here, use this." Kind of. She strikes me as a sperm jacker. Yeah, yeah. So you just got to stay away. I mean, nothing. Especially from the UK women. Let's see here. Video. Okay, yeah. First and foremost, you could not. Okay, my dream would be to make the Holy Diver Show my part-time job. Is that what I do on this channel is never going to be my full-time job, and I don't think that the Miniac even makes that much in terms of AdSense revenue. Maybe he just doesn't have any bills, and his wife's making the money, but none of these channels make any real money compared to like Houston Jones, Angry Video Game Nerd. Like what's the antithesis of what a real YouTube channel that is profitable looks like? Go over to Raging Golden Eagle. Go over to Razor Fist and watch him. Go over to Razor Fist on Friday nights and watch Razor Fist play video games. He'll get like $300 super chats. All right? Most of his videos are demonetized. All right, so yeah, those are real YouTube channels. Those are what you call heavy hitters. No wargaming channel, and I think this is why we have to gatekeep and kind of tell people they're not welcome, is because if this becomes like a normal thing, then everything's going to be as shitty as those Dungeons and Dragons miniatures you get out of the box back when they hit during the days of 3.5. You could buy the pre-painted shitty monsters that they had. That's where normalcy will take you. That's where letting the normies in will take you. Yeah, just like I don't think there's enough ad revenue there. Yeah, Discourse is a man, but I call him the Diet Coke of the tranny community. 1 calorie, not quite tranny enough for that butt clapping captain of the Bussy Patrol. Um, Tycho probably wouldn't leave, but I mean, yes, maybe hire outside of the UK and do those videos for Games Workshop in the United States. And because the UK has so many freaking problems, and if you don't like what they do in the United States, you can fire them. Whereas in I'm sure in the UK, I'm just guessing, I'm ballparking this with a 3-pointer, hoping that it lands before the buzzer. I'm sure that there are all kinds of laws preventing you from being terminated when you bleep up royally in the UK. Oh, you can't fire him. He has the Hudden disorder. All right. Yeah. So let's see. Uh, they got a silver play button somehow. But then again, just because you have 100,000 subs doesn't mean that you're profitable. It means that you might be bringing in a good supplemental check. But if any of those guys have kids, and I think Tycho does have kids, he's got to have a job. Unless his wife's working and he's a house husband. The command bunker. Yeah, and that's a thing. But if okay, so if the Holy Diver shows were Patreon exclusives only, that's how Dick Masterson literally runs his business. And then and then he when he releases his show, he can't even do shorts. He gets flagged for everything. But he's been around forever, and he's also on. I could branch out the Subscribe Star, but again, I'm just trying to get some equipment, but so he's got like 17,000 people on Patreon or something like that. It's a lot. This is going to be a reoccurrence here. People pay to watch the Dick Show and the world's biggest problem. And those shows don't really leave Patreon. Now, there is a channel that's, I think, mirroring the content to YouTube, which they shouldn't be doing because those were Patreon exclusives. But that's how Dick Masterson runs his business. And that's another example of a channel that actually makes money. But, you know, he's been around since 2000. I think he came onto the scene in 2007 when he wrote the book, Men Are Better Than Women, Deal With It. So... I'm afraid I don't understand you. Had a good IG for years before going full-time e-thought. Didn't even realize she was a click. Plus, she can't paint. Yeah, I saw some picture of hers on Instagram where it was recommended to me. It showed this big fat lady ogre. I think it was a Blood Bowl miniature, and somehow that wins a gold demon. You know, we have to let a woman win the gold demon, otherwise it will be sexist. That's where we're going with the wokeness that is GW. Yes, Germans are a top seller for Flames of War and Bolt Action. You know, I have no trouble playing the Germans. It's just that, you know, I don't prioritize Bolt Action on my channel, you know. There is a difference between me and Stephen B. DeMarco. Stephen B. DeMarco does this for a living. He works at Miniature Wargamings and he brings in some money from his channel, and it's his job to know the rules for 5 different games at any given time at the drop of a hat. It's his job to edit all that footage, you know, and he doesn't go to work for 10 and a half, 12 and a half, 11 and a half hours a day like I did the last 3 days, you know. Where you get home and it's just like, I guess I'll go for a jog and go to bed. You know, that was me the last 3 days, so. P. Camo, thanks for nothing. Okay, Hussar General, how are you doing today? Sorry I didn't see you a little sooner. I can't keep up with you guys. I'm going to have to hurry and power through this. A lot of people in Europe are communists, in my opinion, just like a lot of people here in the United States are already going towards communism. You know, you got a lot of, socioeconomic problems with Gen Z, and, you know, they're poor, and they have to use buy now, pay later services. Midwinter, I know it sucks. And then, let's see here, back to D, I got an idea for Super Chat early. Hex and Hammer live streams, shout out. Yeah, Six Hex and Hammer is another guy. He's an example of a heavy hitter channel. Been around forever. I used to hate his channel. Now I watch for his. I watch him because he'll report the news, and none of it's drama clickbait. Very rarely does he get into the realm of drama clickbait. What's up, Leon T66? Long time no talk. And then, okay. A lot of people can't stand the Miniac. Are you talking about the skinny, dark-haired woman with glasses? Are you talking about Angela from Hobby Night, DM James? Okay, so even Warlord Games, I mean, it's like you can't get away from it. Like, they're all woke in Europe, all right? You know, it's like, I don't know what it is. If Warlord Games is having Decepticons on their, Decepticon Transformers on their stuff now, there's just no escape. And like I said, Leon, while you're here, I wanted to talk, I want to know if you're on Instagram or something. Because I want to ask you about maybe moving some of your content over to Rumble. And I know that you're a big historical gamer and everything, and what I wanted to talk about on Seventh Son with some of the guys like you, Von Ketteringham, is getting content moved over to Rumble. So when you upload on YouTube, you upload to Rumble, because there aren't a lot of people doing it, and that will set the algorithm. We can, in essence, as smaller channels, set the algorithm on a new up-and-coming platform that already has almost probably hundreds of millions of viewers at this point. Anyway, what's up, D6 Wounds? Well, thank you for subbing to my Rumble channel. And this will be going up on Rumble early next week or by the end of Sunday, you know. So I am putting another battle report up on Rumble for 40K very soon. I have it filmed. I just have to upload it. Like I said, I've been busy to the max. Ultimate Warrior. Hobby Night. The Beastmen, I'm going to start painting these pretty briskly. I have 10 Minotaurs that I just stripped. I've probably won an auction. Let's see if Holy Diver won an auction right now. I guess I'm not going to get to any painting on this stream. You know, I've been trying to keep things very ordered, and I'm also trying to keep up with your chats. Let's see. Oh, pay now. I won all my Beastmen. How many Beastmen in total did I get here? Hold on. $100, $30 to ship, but I don't begrudge them. Shipping is just so expensive. Thank you, lockdowns. What do they got here? Go into the auction. I got all my core figures that I need. I have everything that I need for my army. So that's how my Beastmen are going, Mr. D6 Wounds. I have every model that I need for my army. Let me just see how many guys I got here. Boom! We got 79 Gores with 2 hand weapons, 2 broken weapons. I have extra arms for Gores. I got 7 Gores with shield and hand weapon for some reason. 14 Ungor Raiders and 6 Ungors with hand weapon shields. I got a bunch more Ungors because I bought some of my old Beastmen back from my buddy Bubbles. But again, D6 Wounds. You should start throwing your battle reports up on Rumble because, again, there's nobody doing this over there. Nobody's doing what we do over on Rumble. And so it would be a good time for smaller content creators, anybody, and even like Tabletop. Get Seven Sun Miniatures over to Rumble and making, you know, don't expect the views or things to come in immediately, but, you know, setting the algorithm, I think that's a pretty big thing there. All right, so let's see here. Thank you, Hungar. He slipped from a guard tower and broke his neck. I see nothing. I see nothing. Sounds like an episode of Hogan's Heroes. I wonder if Schultz ever slipped. And then, well hung and dung. Doing the camo for SS is tedious. I've seen some amazing paint jobs in that category. Shut up, General. I should have thrown you outside. Of course you come down here the moment I start filming. Okay, get away from the camera. Out! First thing he does is he comes down here and starts fucking with the tripod. God, okay, let's see here. Yeah, some girls might have something to bring to the table. I'm still waiting for Akatsuka to come down and play a game with me. There you go. I don't care what game it is. We can play Monopoly, you know, and I'll call it a battle report with Akatsuka. There you go. You have not heard of Rumble. Rumble is a video hosting website similar to YouTube, and nobody's really using it for wargaming yet. But I would like to remedy that. I tell you that much now, Mr. Leon T. And then Coronite here. Let's see. They're clearing up bugs a lot faster. I'm having less problems with Rumble. Rumble is a video hosting website. Link to it in the description of this video as well. And then... all right, you're just dwelling to that. So with all of that chat out of the way, that was very long-winded. That was very long-winded 49 minutes. I can actually get to some painting. I can get to the Zen portion, you know, of this, of why we're here, gentlemen. So let's go into this for a minute. We can get rid of Aka. There we are. I've lost one power bar on the camera, but I got the other battery ready to go. And the first thing he does A little bastard comes down here and starts clawing at the bottom of the camera tripod. Like you just, I guess that's why he's a general. He's a general asshole, is what he is. So, come hell or high water, I am finishing my Bestigors tonight. I have 6 of them done. So the thing I'm going to do with this guy is I'm just going to kind of match him to his friend here. And before I do the steel plates, I dry brush the entire miniature brown, of course, because that's a base for my flesh. And then I did his Holberg style armor in snakebite leather because I'm going to go over the plates. And that's what a Holberg is a Holberg is just plates hanging off of heavy leather or chainmail. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start off with a little bit of a good old gunmetal, and we'll use the small brush. We'll use the small brush because I really need to get something done on this stream, gentlemen. Gosh, I've been so long-winded, but I'm so glad so many of you showed up, you know, and I don't know. So the next Holy Diver show is going to be me trying to put a face on the Illuminati. And like I said, Midwinter Minis and Louise Sunderch and the girl on Midwinter Minis or Maxine, they're kind of like as close as I can get to putting a face on the Illuminati themselves. And like I said, the Illuminati are the ones who are playing the kingmakers. They're the ones who are saying these are going to be your influencers for the hobby. These are going to be your shepherds. I think shepherds is the best word for what I'm getting at here. You get very delicate next to these horns. General's gonna be a little bit more mellow because I've been leaving him outside at night because I got tired of his 4 a.m. his 4:30 in the morning tantrums. My bowl is empty. Meow, meow. Plus, he's just so rambunctious, and I don't need that. He can be outside during the night. He just sits there on the porch, waiting for other cats and birds to come by. He doesn't really do anything. But yeah, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get all the little steel plates on this done because I gotta get something done this stream, don't I? You know. But go ahead, keep chatting. I mean, we've had a really good talk this stream and everything, and I just does what they say in the video and with what I gather from the Rangers' response get to me? Yeah, it does get to me because if they do get into historical wargaming, well, all of a sudden, you know, we lose our hobby to normies, people who don't understand history. And there's that scene in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade where he tells the Nazi, you know, I read books rather than burn them. And I really think that's where we're at in America. We're at that point in America where, what do you call it? You know, you have people trying to blackwash history, which is going to bring me into what I'm going to talk about for the rest of this stream is, I'm sure some of you out there know the channel, the Metatron, the guy who does all the historical videos, dressed up like a Roman soldier, and he's like, hello, noble ones. They demonetized his channel. And I thought this is the most hilarious thing because he is going to be the dumbest, smart person I've ever seen on the face of the planet. The Metatron is going to be, I'd probably write my next Holy Diver show about that. So he gets his channel demonetized because he made a video in response to Netflix Black Queen documentary series where they blackwashed Cleopatra. Now we all know that Cleopatra is the great-great-great-granddaughter, I think, the great-great-great-granddaughter of Ptolemy, one of Alexander's generals. We all know that she was a Greek, not an Egyptian, and we all know that she was Caucasian. We all know that most Egyptians, rather than the ones who came from the extreme south of the country, were white, or Caucasian, or swart of skin. Herodotus describes the people who come from the extreme south of the country as being black because it's so incredibly hot there that the skin must have burned them to be that that the sun must have burned them to be that color, and that's how it's written in the histories. And he tries to, and I said to myself, as far as him being like one of the dumbest smart people, is that you can't own communists on history because they're going to rewrite it, they're going to burn books, and they're going to come up with another alternative for what they think should happen. So he gets his channel, so the Metatron gets his channel demonetized. He's not on Patreon. He has sponsors for his channel that he shills during his videos, like VPN servers and all that shit like everybody else does. But I'm just surprised that you were reliant on YouTube AdSense revenue. You can't rely on YouTube AdSense revenue. I'd hate to have to tell you this. If you're partnered, expect to lose your AdSense revenue. All right? Because as that money dries up, and because we are in an economic recession, they're going to gaslight us and call it something else. The money that would normally be there to pay YouTube, to pay the people on AdSense, is drying up. No, the marketing at a company is always the first thing that gets cut. And YouTube is already taking half of your super chat money. Or I don't know how much it is. I think it might be 25% of every super chat. So if you get a $100 super chat, I think YouTube is taking $25. YouTube is nobody's friend. The only ones who's not going to lose any of their ad revenue are like bigger people who can afford to sue YouTube. So if you're not Bill O'Reilly, the news anchor, or if you're not PewDiePie, or let's see, I got to think of somebody who can actually afford. What's his name? He's that guy, PragerU. If you're not Dennis Prager, you're going to lose your AdSense revenue. They're going to garnish your AdSense revenue to keep the stock number high because tech is floundering right now. They keep rallying because they keep laying off people and what do you call it? There's one more thing besides layoffs. They're doing, God, when I remember what it is, they laid off a shit ton of people over at Disney. All of the meme stocks are failing, and they're going to just not pay AdSense revenue to creators to keep their stock ticker at a certain level. And I found it funny that here's a guy who has almost 1 million subscribers, and he had no backup plan. No backup plan for being demonetized. Like, are you kidding me, dude? What'd you think was going to happen when you own communists about history? When you make a historically based video about the real Cleopatra? They're going to take half your money, or they're just going to demonetize you all over. Demonetize you and laugh at you from behind the Iron Curtain. Rumble is slowly. I watch all my news on Rumble. Like I watch Razor Fist on Rumble. I watch Styx Hexen on Rumble. I'm watching Terrence Pop on Rumble. I watch TFM on Rumble. I watch a lot of content on Rumble. Let's see here. That was in response to D6, and then. Yeah, and I'm with you there, Cornite. You shouldn't be posting videos of you poaching or a snuff film of somebody getting stabbed in the throat and sacrificed or something like that. I mean, yeah, that deserves some investigation there. You know. I heard that there are a couple government agencies that sued Netflix in Egypt. Right there with you, Cornite. They're pissed. Greece also sued Disney back in the day when they did the Hercules movie because it was mythologically inaccurate. Now, I'm right there with you that you can do whatever you want with a story that's in the public domain. That's fine. I could write a novel right now about Hercules fighting the lion, or whatever the hell I want Hercules to do. but I got to keep it somewhat accurate. Sir Vivor. All right. Smart. Oh, well, thank you, Leon T. Let's see. Yes, yes, he did a video on Achilles. When that was a huge thing too. When they did when Netflix thought they were going to do their Troy series, and they decided to make Achilles black for whatever reason. And I think I've mentioned this in videos before, where like we have the description in the Iliad for what Achilles looks like. He's described as blonde hair, blue eyes, being so well armored that his body glitters like the sun. That's Achilles. His mom is a water nymph. And then, let's see. It could be a huger number than that, but that sounds about right. 33% of what you get made, and then they demonetize you anyway, you know, so you can't. And that's the problem. So one rumor I heard is that the people at Rumble right now are talking to Angry Video Game Nerd. He might actually get a contract from Rumble to go over there and leave YouTube for good. You know, and if James Rolfe leaves YouTube, you know, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall for other bigger content creators. And this is like, there are bread and butter content creators on YouTube that YouTube relies on to make their money. And without them, YouTube will lose money, you know, and it's like I said, when I was identifying the heads of the Hydra, women are one head of the Hydra. And Shaka Zulu knew this. If you control the women, and what they do, you can control the way men think. So I think putting women at the forefront of the hobby is a way to control men within the hobby. And then Midwinter Minis comes out with this BS video about the Nazi problem inside of historical wargaming, is that too many people just openly, you know, what was his name? God, I just remembered there was only one black wargamer in the state where I live. And when Bolt Action came out, guess who he played? Waffen SS. There you go. He was a Lizardman player, and he decided to paint up a Waffen SS army. There you go. Black man playing Waffen SS. I think, what's his name? Also, another channel that I'm subscribed to, a better man than myself, because he always does a good video. He never swears. He's always just got good, solid updates and content. What is his name? What? Okay, I gotta look it up. Hold on. That's killing me. I should know his name off the top of my head. I watch him all the time. The Solo Wargamer. There we go. The Solo Wargamer. He got lambasted a few times, and and he's always out there, just making a good content, making good on anything that he does. But he never lowers himself like I do. When he does a rant video, he's really good, you know. And I kind of lost my chain of thought there, but he went back to being monetized, and he's noticed nothing different in his subscriber count. You know, so, and there's YouTube right there suppressing a black content creator, which are the ones that they say that they want to prioritize. You know, so there's no pleasing the people over at YouTube, and I don't know what they do with the algorithm. I do know that somebody eventually sits down and watches every video that gets uploaded. I do know that, but you know, if the creators that are here in this chat and everything, you know, we're actually starting to branch out and go over to Rumble, and we were to start to take more time, because even when you're on the site of YouTube, you know, unless you're using the browser that I use, you know, my browser blocks all ads. It blocks video ads. It blocks the ads on the site. I can go over to Spiky Bits right now on my browser, and all the ads are going to be blocked. You know, so And what it comes down to is that the less money that companies have for ad revenue, the less money YouTube is going to make, because advertising is how they make their money. And so they're going to start to squeeze every content creator for any kind of dissidence or just because. And that's what they did to the Metatron. But I just thought it was hilarious that a guy like him who has and this is what I don't get. When you have a successful YouTube channel and you have enough money to move your operations to Southeast Asia, why didn't you pick up and move? Why didn't you pick up and have a different plan of action for being somewhat retired when you get to that level, so that you can live the rest of your life on easy mode? And I think a lot of channels do get kind of greedy. You know, they do get kind of greedy. I don't begrudge people making money, but you need to have a backup plan. You know, I mean, say whatever you want about TFM. That guy he's one of those high IQ, high bell curve MFers out there. He had contingency plan after contingency plan. When he finally got booted off of YouTube, what does his channel do now? It does sex toy reviews. And people pay him to masturbate? Okay, there you go. You had plan B in progress. All right, and then you have sponsors. People come on and sponsor streams. Okay, that's fine. I'm doing the same thing. A new sponsor I picked up is After Dark Miniatures. You know, I haven't gotten anything yet, but I'm about to get some stuff, and I'm going to be talking about that. And he's going to fund a couple of streams. Same with Celtic Miniatures. You know, and so, you know, I mean, you've always got to have Plan B, because you could lose your primary, if AdSense is your primary revenue source. Well, YouTube has taken that away from a lot of channels. You know. And you would better have big money to be able to sue them to get it back. Dennis Prager sued and won, to the best of my knowledge, and I think he got remonetized. Maybe. I don't know how that worked. I'd have to look into it. I think he got some of his videos remonetized. What's up, Mobius? How you doing? Who is Kate Flanning, Sir Vivor? I have a lot of British guys watch my channel, and I'm actually honored, because, you know, I spend a lot of time UK bashing. I think there was I got a lot of dislikes on my, if my channel were British. I got this guy down in this basement. He lives in Knightsbridge, but I was all, this gives me an opportunity. I gotta kind of shout somebody out who's reached out to me over the week, and we've had some good conversations. Great. Never can find anyone when I need them. Oh yeah, Phil Jones. I'm shouting out the channel Phil Jones. He does some Roman stuff, but he was a fan of mine, and he says that thing about he's like, he's British, and he's got this real rough Cockney accent. He's in the British Army, and he's like, fuck jammy dodgers. I've never eaten jammy dodgers with my tea. Where did you get jammy dodgers? And he told me that the people who live in Knightsbridge are they're the oligarch class. I was way off on the cost of living at Knightsbridge. Most of those homes are $20 million homes, not 1 million. Well, 20 million pound homes, not 1 million pound homes. Jammy Dodgers. The fuck is a jammy dodger? He strikes me as the kind of guy that would yell at me if I were to go to the UK and I was sitting there not knowing what to do after being checked out. He'd be like, hey, pack your fucking groceries and get out of there, you Yankee scum. He'd get all mad. He'd get all British angry on me. Pack your fucking groceries. You stay for that. I only got the one accent. And he's just, And he never leaves home. He's never had to work a day in his life. I work in real estate speculation. That's my job. I inherited that job from my father. I'm gonna take the Aston Martin out. All right. I've gotten a grand total of one guy partially done. Oh man, good times today, gentlemen. Half a battery gone. But to not have a backup plan, in case your ad revenue gets cut, to not have like I mean, literally, if I could pick up and move because let's say hypothetically, if I was an influencer and I could pick up to move, I would literally be in Vietnam somewhere, um, be getting ready to go to the beach again and get some lobster faux noodles or whatever. Or I would go to Japan, even though I mean, the standard of living it's a first world country. It's not that expensive comparatively to like living in the United States. I mean, especially if you have no house payment. You go out and you buy. There are houses out in Japan in the country because nobody lives in the country, and I actually see a business opportunity there if you want to do agricultural work. If you want to work in the agricultural sector, I'm pretty sure you could probably get a work visa tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but nobody wants to live in the country. All want to live in the city. Here. These guys all right, we got his armor plates all done. Now that his armor plates are done, we can actually move on to the next step. Holy Diver can move on to the next step here. Do I have any need for the rest of this steel? I shouldn't have used so much steel. God, I keep dumping this stuff out like I can just go out and buy. I actually bought 2 more bottles, so I don't give any fucks. But next step is we're going to use some Bugman's Glow, and we're gonna get them to kind of look like this. The flesh is going to go on, and then it'll be horns and eyes after that, and gold if they have it. If I'm going to put any gold on them, but I will get the gold out. I will get that out. Let's use a little bit of gold just in case. What's up, Midnight Aristocrat? Well, the Welsh are like the core of the British Army. There's the Welsh. They were the Queen's Light Infantry at Roxdrift. I believe that was a Welsh regiment. The original band of brothers to go over in 1415. The core of that army was the Welsh Yeoman Archer. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand how the ethnicities of English people work, but I do know that the Welsh are one thing, and there's only so many K's that you can put into a word or a sentence. And then, and so yeah, the core of, oh my God, hopefully I'm still coming. Somebody tell me if I'm just, okay, everything's working again, great. I lost that thought, but yes, so the Welsh went over in 1415, and the Welsh Yeoman Archer made up the bulk of Henry V's army. Well, I'm glad that some of the Brits that Evil Abe liked my videos. That's funny. I mean, you also got I've also been studying the British people. I mean, because you got nothing to do when you're the first thing that you see that was like definitively British that I saw was Red Dwarf. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? This is hilarious. And then, I just, it starts with comedy, and then you get things like the IT crowd and everything. Let's see here. Oh, we got plenty of flesh. Here we go. So let's get this. All right. I'm going to do his nose here. But I will finish these 4 guys tonight. I know I got a lot to do. I am filming a fantasy battle, so that's going to go up on Patreon. I'm doing a game of fantasy tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to bring the greenskins to a fight. I think I'm going to bring my vampire counts out to fight the Empire or something like that. So I get to play a fantasy battle because I don't want to wait for Oldworld anymore. I really don't. I might actually finish 2 miniatures. I might actually finish a miniature on stream, everybody. I have to be careful when I talk. I've been chewing my own face all week. I must have bit the right side of my mouth like 5 times really hard this week. Now it's all swollen. Went to the fights last night. Saw Tommy and Leo do their fights. And they did pretty good. God, that Tommy kid is an animal. Kind of sucks that he didn't win. Leo won his fight, though. Those are my sparring partners. Let's see here. Let's get these. Get some real beastmen going on here. Yeah, I don't think I'll need more than 80 Gores and 10 Minotaurs for the bulk of this army. I'm hoping they come out with a new Shaggoth model. That will be pretty cool if they do another Shaggoth model, or I'll just buy the old one. It doesn't matter. I also have another chariot coming to the house. All right, let's get into chat here. We all eat, according to what's his name, Phil Jones. That's his YouTube channel. That's his YouTube handle. He doesn't eat the Jammy Dodgers. He does not like the the concept of a Jammy Dodger one bit. Worcester sauce. Worcester sauce. That's the only way you can pronounce it is with the British accent. I have a lot of Worcester sauce that I'm going to put on this beef of mine because I'm a beef eater. Battle for Skull Pass is classic. I've got three 7th edition rule books. Um, the thing that made Battle for Skull Pass cool was, I mean, that was like the first time Games Workshop actually gave you a whole bunch of miniatures. I mean, the 6th edition box set was really good, but that one kind of ramped it up, you know? I thought it was really good. Then people didn't like 7th edition, but um, I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion that they will recast a lot of those miniatures for Skull Pass because monopose would be the way to go for a lot of people. Aluminum. There you go. I did it. I should have the super chat thing enabled there. You know that aluminum. No, the British accent. I have a lot of time to practice that. It's just kind of like, oh, Mr. Bean. That used to be on PBS as well. Good old So that I can tell you now, speaking of Mr. Bean and Rowan Atkinson, so that laugh is actually General Melchett's laugh. That's General Melchett. And then the voice is the British voice that I use is Richmond from IT Crowd. And then the attitude and the snooty little way of like his cluelessness, his what do you call cognitive dissonance or whatever, him being an upper crust Londoner probably living in Chelsea or Knightsbridge, that comes from the portrayal of the British in Dracula Dead and Loving It, how they're all just kind of like clueless all the time. Yeah, that comes from Dracula. So his general malaise comes from Dracula Dead and Loving It, which is actually a really funny movie, by the way. It's one of my favorites. Leslie Nielsen comedies. I think I'm going to have to do a review on that. I think it's been a while since I've done a review for a Dracula movie, and I think I'm going to review Dracula Dead and Loving It because it's one of those gems. They did such a good job with it. Leslie Nielsen, what a guy, He said here's a guy, handsome, has all the trappings to be a lead male, could have done any movie he wanted to, but chose to stick it out with comedy because he just liked to see people laugh. I don't know why I'm using such a small... Oh yeah, I have to use a small brush because I have to keep the flesh off of the leather. I wonder if there's any British Sir Vivor or Leon T, if you're still here. What's up, Sergeant K? I wonder if my British accent would allow me to pass as a native temporarily. So if, like, let's say I went to the UK. If I went to the UK and just talked like that, well, you see, I come from Knightsbridge, and it's just the way we talk over there, or something like that. I wonder if I would be outed as an American immediately, or if I would get away with it for probably about 3 minutes before they're like, this guy's bullshitting us. Hamptonshire. What club is that? What soccer club is Hamptonshire? Is that Manchester United? Or is that what do you call it? West Ham. go. Getting all these beast men. Come on, shake your ass for me, beast man. Airplane was a really good movie. He played that pretty good. That's what I heard. Everybody, Leon, everybody always tells me that. I got a lot of, what do you call it? Like I said, there's a lot of you guys in the chat today. So thank you for watching. But I always get told that London isn't filled with Londoners. It's more foreign now. It's all foreigners in London, which I really think is a tragedy. I really think it's a tragedy. I don't think it's a good thing, and I just but I hear that so often that there's more foreigners in London than actual like people from the island, that should be sounding an alarm bell right there in and of itself, because without the white Anglo-Saxon ethnic group, England won't be a country anymore. They might as well rename it Northern Niger or Northern Morocco or Northern Tunisia or something. Hamptonshire is the south, nowhere near Manchester. Okay, I did learn when I actually did my initial research for the video if my channel were British. All right, so I did the research, and I do know that Knightsbridge and parts of Chelsea are within walking distance of one another. But I also know that I chose the two most affluent places that I could find. And then I did a little bit of soccer research. I did a little bit of research on the tea biscuits that were eaten. I just liked the way that Channy Dodger sounded. Okay, it's mostly Pakistani. Yes, I do know that from. And what was the first? And the thing that really people really appeared to hate was that I had the guy watching Love Thy Neighbor, which was basically the English equivalent to All in the Family. And there's that scene. There's where he goes into the grocery store, and there's a Pakistani guy working there. Oh, Burke will never hear you in Burke, not Aegis, and he's got a head wobble and everything. and he was putting some money in the till because the customer had just left, and he's like, I caught you with your hand in the till, you little chocolate drop. Burke, Burke, get down here. Who is this Burke you keep on shouting for? Burke is retired. I own the store. We have to cater to the masses. We are the masses. 36 Pakistani families moved in here last week. How many houses were sold? Only 3. I thought, okay, so Midnight Aristocrat, my impersonation, no, my impression that a lot of the Indians that live there, they're the Sikh. They were the first. A lot of them are so I don't know this exactly if this is correct. That a lot of the Indians that are living there are Sikh, and they are the ones who volunteered for military service during World War I and World War II, if I'm not mistaken, and that's why a lot of them were granted citizenship. Because the Sikhs immediately conscripted. If my history is correct, but I'm not entirely sure. Some of you guys in the chat might know better than me. Okay, so yes, he would have a Mongulu the runner. He would have a migrant working for him, of course. He's exploiting cheap labor. That's what rich people do. They allow the cheap labor to, so it's like the whole song and dance number with Republicans or Democrats. It doesn't matter who you vote for. They both are in the end are screwing over the citizens. All right, so all right. The saying goes: Democrats want the vote, Republicans want the cheap labor. All right. But I mean, a lot of, but that's neither here nor there. Democrat or Republican, you want cheap labor. What will you do without a subservient underclass to clean hotel rooms? That's where literally where that comes from. Or what will you do without people to pick fruit? But you also, the other thing is to suppress. You allow the migrants to come in because people who own things, business owners in general, like people who manufacture or do any kind of real work, like roofing, it doesn't matter. Like, if you even for a moment allow a concept of scarcity in the labor market to exist, wages immediately go up. If there is a concept of scarcity in the labor market, wages will shoot up indefinitely. And that's why they've allowed a lot of Mexicans to run the border, because they don't want a concept of scarcity in the labor market. Now a lot of people just aren't working. You know, I'd say, I mean, a lot of Americans, are mentally, spiritually, and physically defeated. But that's like a story for another day. We lie to it. I mean, and the best proof that I can give you for that is look at the millennials, my generation. We were told to all go get college degrees. We were all told that getting a trade was poopy work. We were literally all told this. We bought the lie. We went to college. We ran up student loan debts. And now what are we doing? We're laying on our asses begging for student loan bailouts. And we're 37 and we're living at home. Or we're 34. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of like 30-year-olds that I know because of my brother. Me and my brother went to the same high school. All right. So we went to the same high school. I graduated in 2001. I graduated a year early. And but I had to walk with the class of 2002, so I'm dating myself here again. But when my brother graduated, there were some of the people that I would eventually meet that he knew, and they were playing war games, and like 4 of these guys are 32 years old. They're like 32 years old, and they've never had a serious job where they actually have to be somewhere on time and work for 8 to 9 hours, and they've also never had a job that gives them medical insurance. As men, they are literally a failure to launch. And then you have to look at the quality of the millennial women. Boomer women spared no expense telling women my age you're so strong and independent, you don't need no man, you just need a career, and that doing work, being a homemaker is the worst thing that you could ever do. The king-queen system is the worst thing. And you got a lot of guys like me, we're not married, or we're not fixing to get remarried. We're not fixing to get remarried. We all saw our dads get raked over the coal fires of divorce. We're terrified of it. And then how do politicians respond? It's porn's fault. It's men's fault that they're not stepping up. And then, I mean, like at my age especially, I just I want somebody who's 25, has a checking account, has a job, and is thin. Oh, and no tattoos and piercings. No green hair, please. Like, there was a girl I could have married. I could have gotten married to her, probably would have had a couple kids. I would have had the whole suburbanite life. But the problem with her was pink. She kept dyeing her hair different colors of garbage. And I'm not taking a woman to meet my mom who has green hair. All right, there you go. Okay, so the Sikhs are the most integrated of all the. I had a theory it was the Sikhs, that a lot of them, and that's how they got there, right? They signed. They openly conscripted during World War One and World War Two, and a lot of them were granted citizenship. I think I'm right in saying that, but I'm not. I'm not an expert. I mean, you could probably write papers on just this one topic alone. How many Sikhs conscripted and how many were granted citizenship afterwards, or allowed to go to Canada, or allowed to go to Australia. Let's get a little gold. God, this has been probably one of the best episodes I've done for a while, you know. And usually when I release the Holy Diver shows, I take that week off, and I needed it. And I didn't get a lot of work done, but I'm gonna start getting some work done. I have to reread the Fantasy 8th Edition rules, so I won't be doing anything else tonight. I'm gonna get the table ready. I'm gonna play myself a nice game of Fantasy. Get the And I might just bring the greenskins out, but I really want to play my vampire counts. I don't know. I've got trouble. Got troubles all over the place with the steam tank kicking my ass. I do know that they consider themselves warriors. That's another thing I know about Sikhs. Brave. You got to be brave warriors. All right, that's enough gold. Then we got to get out the Gothor Brown, because these are beastmen being beastmen. And I got to get out the skin again because I failed to paint their ears. Well, you're absolutely right, Cornite. But you're in an actual field. Like, okay, working at the sewage plant, yeah, that's a real job, and that is probably that's one of the most quintessential jobs I can think of on the market. Like, literally, you're working in sanitation. Nobody wants to work in sanitation, but you're working in sanitation. I can tell you now that there are guys out there who clean the porta potties. Some of those guys are making $38 an hour because they've been at the job and they get a raise every single year. You know, so it's lucrative. It's real. You can support your family. Everything is good. You know, I mean, construction again. Everything is good in construction. You know, I mean, but telling boys that to just get a college degree and a job will be waiting for you, that was a lie that our generation was sold. And then this is the worst part, was the boomers were all too willing to profit off of it. You know, basically fake educational fields what do you call it? Women's studies, or what's another preposterous one? Political science. You know, I would say that, you know, political science isn't really a field of study so much as it is a grift. It's a complete and total grift. What's another one? I gotta think of another. I gotta think of another one that's like. There's some in the tech industry that aren't real tech jobs. Mechatronics or something like that. It's kind of like majoring in business. If you're not majoring in accounting, you know, I mean, how much is what was your skill set? A lot of like There are a lot of people with MBAs out there who do not have a skill set. They don't have a skill set at all. But, I made a video on Instagram. Picture a world where if we had 10 million more men in the trades like carpentry, plumbing, electrician, concrete, excavation, a home wouldn't cost you $500,000. Okay, so the Indians were the largest volunteer force. 2.5 million? Gosh, that's half of the entire German army right there. That's half of the entire German army right there. Just with that number alone, you could automatically say Germany was never going to win that war. All Britain had to do was hold their island. That was it. Now, of course, I've actually read, the Second World War. One of the things that really hurt Germany was not having a four-engine bomber. If they had four-engine bombers, they might have been able to reduce the island. What else did I miss on this model? Nothing. All right. He's got his gold. They just need their ears. We can put a little Gorthor Brown on them. I can change batteries. Life is good, gentlemen. I hope you recover from your back injury, historical doppelganger. Oh. The Instagram is in the link, good sir. The Instagram is in the link. It's down in the description. I couldn't get the name Holy Diver, so I put myself in as what am I? Ultimate Warrior, you menace. God save the. Oh yeah, I see it now. Beth Walsh. God, what are you guys thinking over there at Warlord Games? Oh my God, I might have to make a video about that. Let's see here. Antipater, like the general, like the Greek general, Antipater Supreme. That's the handle, but the link is in the description. And we gotta get bones. They need bones. Let's see. Okay, I guess we'll stick it out for 8 more minutes, gentlemen, and then we'll call it a day. So I want to appreciate everybody for coming out. I hope I was able to. What's up, Owen Lee? I am working on some Beastmen. I forgot to paint their ears. Their ears are behind their horns, like so. And before I move on to painting their hair, I have to paint their ears. I'm painting their flesh with just Bugman's Glow. These guys, I'm not going to highlight them. And I did want these miniatures. These specific classic miniatures, I got a good deal on them. $30 for 10. Got 2 boxes. Yes, I really did want these because I like the way that they're just sculpted. I know they're not as cool as the new ones, but I don't know how often I'm going to run these because I do want to play one game with my 6th edition codex, where I have all those awesome ambush rules. That was like, and my guy is a Zeech general. Gosh, I have so much to do today. Work, 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 work. I wish I didn't have to work all those big shifts this week, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right, so that's done. The next thing, for all of the hair and the fur on their legs and the fur on the bottom of their hooves, it's just Gothor brown. I try to leave as much of the, what do you call it, charred brown on there as I can. But I've actually got to get to some of these projects. This is going to be the workload for the rest of the week. These two stands of torsos, and if I can get 2 torso stands done by Friday, these 3 stands done by Friday, I've done good. I gotta stop slacking. And hopefully my battery holds. And he got dogpiled because he pushed back. Of course, if you don't accept the weird into your, you know, you're not allowed to push back. And like I said, in the last Holy Diver show, I really did try to sound the alarm on this horse shit, you know, because they are going to infiltrate the hobby. I think they are going to try, and they can't leave men to their own devices, you know. This is why, like, male spaces used to exist, you know. And I got ratioed very hard for it, you know. It really sucks the way YouTube will just, like, flat out, you're squashed, have fun being squashed. Give me 1 second. Let's finish up this guy's hair. I've been burnt out forever, but you know, the way I deal with burnout is like before the stream, I did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 50 inclined dumbbell presses. You know, just so I'd be more coherent. I did some heavy lifting before I started up. So yeah, whoever put that Beth thing inside of Warlord Games, I'll have to investigate it. That's Illuminati, all right? The fact that, you know, like I said, the most successful boycott I ever seen was Bud Light thought it would be a good idea to put a trans person on their cans. And what did the white trash do? They gotten boycotted. They've had to bail out their own distributors in other states. You know, so it's, you know, just... You know, there needs to be some kind of pushback, and I think the one thing that people could do to piss off Midwinter Minis is just painting and posting Waffen SS figures with the hashtag F Midwinter, you know. Here we go. What do we got? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna make it. I gotta buy some fucking batteries. That's what I gotta do. Or a new AC adapter that actually works. Got no batteries. Nothing around here works. Oh no, the lights are gonna go out in Knightsbridge. Oh, what? Oh. Let's see here. Let's catch up with chat. Because we have basically come to the end of our time together, gentlemen. Yeah, my friend wants to play some Wargheim. I'd like to play. I'd like to play. Try it. I haven't played it. I've never played it. What campaign did you finish? Yeah, but they screwed up and they've paid for it. And you know, I mean, oh, I'm almost out of Menoth. My trusty Menoth is almost empty. Well, that's about where I'm going to leave it, you know. So I hope I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching today. It's been probably one of the best streams I've ever done. Thanks for all the guys in the UK. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Thank you. I hope that you liked my kind of response to Midwinter. Like I said, I've got a lot of writing to do, and if I come out with some kind of a response video and everything, I mean, it's got I've got to research it and then write it, you know, because that's what I did for the last Holy Diver show. And it did hit like a bomb. But if you haven't watched it, make sure you go over there and watch it. Share the video around in your circles. And don't forget to like and leave a comment, you know. And as always, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video. But until I see you guys again, you can always check me out on Patreon. Don't forget to check me out on Rumble. And if you want to shoot the shit with me and DM me, you can do that on Instagram. And let's finish up the video here and thank all the patrons like we always do. All right. As usual, promotional consideration paid for by the following: John K., Andrew C., Lady Quickblood 35, Moonbat, Babas D., Craig B., Jimmy M., Drac Wizard, James C., Macy J., Tipsy Thomas, James B., Wallach, Jason G., Michael W., Christian M., Coronite, Care Bear, Olinius Pius, Road Dog, King Assault, Tipper, Sean, Orange Veteran, After Dark Games, Celtic Miniatures, and Randy the Axeman. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.